And welcome to another movie that we're going to be looking at on the wait a second. This isn't a shark movie? The hell? This is a gator movie. This is a new gator movie. A gator? An alligator? Here we are with the Gator Gage. And today's movie we're looking at is the newly released Crawl, which was released in July of 2019, and we're going to be doing a video on it. We're going to look at it. And since this movie's in theaters, don't expect any real footage of the movie. But, the Gator Gage. Let's just get right into it, I guess. Gators. I love gators now. This is not a shark movie. Gators! Gators! The story of Crawl is actually a bit different from all these shark movies that we've been watching. The movie takes place in Florida. It is during a giant hurricane attack in Florida, causing flooding and crazy winds. But I guess that's pretty normal for Florida, though. It stars this woman named Haley. She does swim team, but seemingly never wins her swim team meets. Her sister FaceTimes her, asking her to go check on her dad because his old house is right in the middle of this terrible storm. Of course it is. After some hesitation, though, she does decide to go and check on him. Let's just say she finds him alive, but he's in the crawl space under his old house, and they're surrounded by alligators. In addition to this, the storm is causing flooding, so their crawl space is getting flooded and there's alligators waiting to come get them. The story of this movie is actually shockingly good. It starts out a bit generic and may seem predictable, but it takes some twists and turns I never saw coming. The entire concept of them being stuck in the crawl space is just ingenious. That is some scary shit. I'm going to tell you that right now. Crawl spaces are no joke. Like, this is a really good idea, and I think the movie is very tense throughout, and there are some very clear stakes present throughout the movie. The movie is very serious and really just never hits the brakes on how serious it is. The characters are surprisingly well developed for a movie of this caliber, and you just feel an attachment to them. It was actually really good through and through. The premise is great, the location is great, and I just think the characters are great also. The only nitpick, but it's also a bit of a flaw really, it's more than nitpick, I have with the story is that the ending is pretty abrupt, and I would have liked to have seen maybe 1 or 2 more minutes. Like, that's it. That's all I would have needed of resolution, but other than that, this is a really good plot actually. So I guess the next topic to bring up would be how much screen time the alligators have. And I have to say it's quite a bit. Obviously, I'd say the first 20 to 30 minutes, they really aren't in it at all. But after that, they're in almost every scene, minus any of the flashbacks, of course. But besides those, I gotta say the alligators got a ton of screen time. They're in this movie a lot. Way more than I honestly thought. A lot of it is in the shadows, I will say, but you still do see the alligators full on in tons of scenes, especially near the end. They're in a lot of it. I was quite surprised with how much screen time they got, as not even I was expecting this much. It was quite refreshing, really. So all the gators just show up a bunch on screen, but do they have any kills? Oh yeah, they got some kills, alright. I'm not going to spoil how many they have, but I'll just say they kill some people. I will say the creativity for the kills is not exactly amazing or all that unique, but they are really high quality at least. They are a bit generic to some extent, as it's usually just the alligator grabbing someone, but I think they're done in an extremely well manner. A couple of them come out of nowhere and just spook the hell out of me, so the shock value was definitely there. They don't exactly show a ton of the person getting mauled, but I think with what they show was more than serviceable and definitely gets the point across. There is 1 or 2 kills I will say that were totally gruesome though. In the end, I think the kills were actually really well done, and they definitely make me more scared of alligators than sharks. But when the alligators are on screen and killing people, or at least waiting to kill people, how do they look? Well, I'm not even kidding, they look just downright amazing. They look absolutely phenomenal. These are easily the best looking alligators I've ever seen in a movie. Like, hands down, no question, best looking alligators I've ever seen in a movie. They animate in just such a realistic, awesome manner. It's fluid, it's fast, it's incredibly realistic, with just an incredible amount of detail. It's really unparalleled is what it is. The detail is just superb on them. The effects of their eyes, the blood, it's just so good. The CGI is just amazing, and I was genuinely very happy with it. It doesn't get any better than this for alligator CGI in a realistic sense. In fact, everything related to the alligators I thought was just awesome. But now let's talk about the acting. The acting from the two main characters was just something else. It was so good. It was so believable and just really well done. I genuinely think it was awesome. My hat's off to the main characters. They were just so good. They convey emotion extremely well. They get the point across, and they just get her done. I have nothing but good things to say about the main characters. I thought they couldn't be any better. They are tense. They show what kind of situation they're in well, and they just made the movie that much more compelling. The other characters, the side characters that are in a few scenes, was honestly a bit of a contrast. They were okay, don't get me wrong, but they were just nowhere near as good as the main characters. They were fine, but they were clearly supporting actors. They were not the focus here. But at least none of them really have too much screen time, so them being not as good is really quite well hidden. All in all, the acting was just really good. In fact, I'm going to say all in all, this movie was really good. This movie was actually just fantastic, I thought. For a horror movie, summer creature flick, a monster movie, a thriller movie, whatever it is, I thought it was just top notch. It was really top notch in basically every single category. I really can't find anything to complain about with this movie other than a somewhat abrupt ending that just kind of ends without any real conclusion. But other than that, I have nothing but good things to say about this movie. It's tense, the characters are great, the acting is superb, and the alligators are just fantastic. This is easily like the very best alligator movie I've ever seen, and I would argue it's probably the best alligator movie ever made. How it took this long, I don't know, but I'm glad we finally have it. If you like alligators, I don't know how you haven't seen this one already. This is a must watch. If you like shark movies or any of the movies I've looked at on this channel, this movie is a must see. And I will say that there is a shark cameo in the movie. There is a shark, everyone. I was not disappointed there. All in all, a great movie. This is easily one of my favorite monster movies of all time and favorite thrillers of all time also. So I guess we aren't using the shark scale here, but instead the Gator gauge. So on the Gator gauge, this movie gets easily a 3 out of 3, which is what the Gator gauge is. In fact, I can tell you that this is probably the best alligator movie ever made, and that you need to go see it. What a great movie. In fact, forget the Gator gauge. This thing smashes the Gator gauge. 4 out of 3, 5 out of 3, whatever it is. What a great movie. It's in theaters now. Check it out. If you're not going to check it out when it's in theaters, rent it, pirate it, whatever it is. Find some way to see it. I could not praise this movie enough. But that's the end of the Gator gauge, guys. If you would like to see me look at more movies with the Gator gauge, you got to tell me. Otherwise, I'm just sticking to the shark scale for the most part. This was a rare exception because I saw the movie in theaters and thought it was amazing. So, if you liked the video, tell me. If you didn't like the video, tell me. If you ate my guts, tell me. Like, subscribe, comment. I got a Twitter you could follow. Just do something. I'd much appreciate it. Have a nice Christmas, everyone.